From Space Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida, United Launch Alliance presents live Atlas V launch coverage. On board Atlas today is the NROL-67 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office.
Ready to go for launch. Roger, go for launch.
T-minus 3, 2, 1.
Atlas engine ignition.
Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 19 minutes 30 seconds and counting. Launch countdown operations are continuing and the team is not working any issues at this time. Today's launch time is 1:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Good afternoon and welcome to Mission Control at the Atlas Spaceflight Operations Center at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. I'm Danielle Taylor and I'll be your commentator for today's mission. Following liftoff, you'll hear the voice of Marty Malinowski providing launch vehicle ascent data. A planned 10-minute built-in hold will occur at T-minus 4 minutes. This hold allows launch conductor Scott Barney and his team time to address any last-minute tasks. However, at this point, we remain on schedule for launch at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At the request of our customer, we'll end today's live coverage with confirmation of payload fairing jettison, which is scheduled to occur approximately 3.5 minutes after liftoff. As I just mentioned, Atlas V is launching the NROL-67 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. The NRO is a joint organization engaged in the research and development, acquisition, launch, and operation of overhead reconnaissance systems necessary to meet the needs of the intelligence community and the Department of Defense. The NRO's mission is to provide innovative overhead intelligence systems for national security. The NRO is recognized for its transformational intelligence collection systems that are used to develop highly accurate military targeting data, support international peacekeeping and humanitarian relief operations, and to assess the impact of natural disasters. Recently, the launch team received a final weather briefing from the 45th Space Wing's weather officer, and was told the weather is within the launch commit criteria for today's liftoff. The weather briefing provided the following information. The probability of violating launch constraints is less than 10%. The ground winds are 10 to 11 knots out of the northeast, and the temperature is 72 degrees Fahrenheit. So we are proceeding towards liftoff with a planned T0 of 1:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. ULA is using the Atlas V-541 configuration to launch the NROL-67 mission. This is the 45th Atlas V Evolved Expendable Launch Vehicle flight since the inaugural launch in August 2002, and the second flight of the 541 configuration. An Atlas V-541 was also used to send NASA's recent Mars Science Laboratory on its mission to the Red Planet. The Atlas V launch vehicle is produced in Decatur, Alabama and Harlingen, Texas. It is comprised of a common core booster powered by the NPO Energomash RD-180 main engine, 4 Aerojet solid rocket boosters, and a Centaur upper stage powered by the Aerojet Rocketdyne RL-10A engine. The NROL-67 mission is encapsulated within a 5-meter diameter payload fairing, manufactured by Ruag Space. In preparation for launch, the encapsulated payload fairing was transported and mated to the Atlas V booster on March 14th. The Atlas V is readied for launch at the Vertical Integration Facility, or the VIF. The VIF is located approximately 1/3 of a mile south of the launch pad, at Space Launch Complex 41. Yesterday, the fully integrated Atlas V, on its mobile launch platform, was rolled from the VIF to the pad. Track mobiles are used to transport the Atlas V and its mobile launch platform to the launch pad, a trip that takes about 30 minutes to complete. The Atlas rocket stands 196 feet tall, or about 19 stories, and weighs more than 1 million pounds fully fueled. 2 seconds prior to liftoff, the Atlas RD-180 main engine and 4 solid rocket boosters produce nearly 2 million pounds of thrust to lift the vehicle away from the pad. For those watching the broadcast, you're looking at video taken yesterday at Space Launch Complex 41.
T-minus 5 minutes.
Start radar data acquisition. Roger. Centaur LO2 at flight level. Roger.
Centaur LH2 at flight level.
Roger.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 14 minutes, 15 seconds and counting. The launch team will soon enter a planned 10-minute built-in hold. Again, this hold allows the launch team time to address any final tasks. However, at this point, the team is not working any issues, and liftoff remains on schedule at 1:45 p.m. Eastern. And we have just entered the planned 10-minute hold. As I mentioned at the top of the show, today's live coverage will end with confirmation of payload fairing jettison. Let's take a closer look at what we can expect to see following liftoff.
The following profile details the important events of this mission using approximate times.
Status check.
Go Atlas. Go Centaur.
This is Atlas Mission Control. It's T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the RD-180 engine roars to life. And liftoff.
The Atlas RD-180 main engine and 4 solid rocket boosters, or SRBs, ignite to lift the vehicle away from the pad. Shortly after liftoff, Atlas begins its initial pitch, yaw, and roll maneuvers to attain the proper ascent profile and to minimize aerodynamic loads. At 36 seconds, the launch vehicle reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound. The solid rocket boosters burn out at 1 minute 36 seconds. At 1 minute 52 seconds, the first 2 SRBs are jettisoned, followed by jettison of the 3rd and 4th SRBs a second and a half later. Approaching payload fairing jettison at just over 3 minutes into the flight, the Atlas V is burning propellant at the rate of more than 1,875 pounds per second, is more than 70 miles in altitude, 148 miles downrange, and traveling at a speed of more than 8,200 miles per hour. At 3 minutes 26 seconds, the payload fairing is jettisoned.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. The NROL-67 mission is dedicated to John Austin Wheeler. John Austin Wheeler dedicated more than 17 years, nearly half his life, to supporting the NRO. He was a highly respected technician who supported every communications system the NRO deployed, from the early 1990s until 2013. He provided direct support to ground stations, launch bases, and worldwide communications operations for nearly every NRO program. Austin made life better for all his coworkers during his time at Onboard Air Force Base, Vandenberg Air Force Base, and Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. During his career, he supported more than 70 launches, including 15 NRO programs. As the lead communication technician for NROL 24, 27, and 38, he ensured that NRO-COM was successful, and Austin set up the Eastern Processing Facilities COM room and lines to support Bay 3's first customer, NROL-67. He was always available, dependable, and energetic. Austin will be missed as an expert technician, project leader, and most importantly, a friend.
RC, verify solar radiation acceptable for launch.
Verified.
LC switch to ready position. All steps are complete prior to the status check.
LCRC1.
Go RC.
Got a launch window management plan through 1805 Zulu.
1805 Zulu.
Good copy.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. We remain in the planned 10-minute hold as preparations for the launch continue. Launch conductor Scott Barney will pull the launch team in a few moments for the final go to resume the launch countdown. 27 engineers and managers will be pulled for system status and readiness to proceed with the launch. This is the final status check before launch for all Atlas vehicle systems, ground systems, the spacecraft, and the U.S. Air Force Eastern Range. The readiness poll includes hydraulics, pad water deluge system, electrical systems, pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and propellants. Let's listen in as launch conductor Scott Barney performs the final polling of the team.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas systems, propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
Water.
Go.
Centaur systems, propulsion.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Oh. Go.
LH2.
Go.
HASGAS.
Go.
Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
Instrumentation.
Go.
COM.
Go.
Timer.
Go.
GCQ.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Redline monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Range coordinator.
Clear to proceed.
Launch director.
Launch vehicles ready to launch.
Mission director.
You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count. T0 is planned for 1745 Zulu. Set count to start at 1741 Zulu.
Roger. T0 is set for 1745. Count will start at 1741.
Polling is complete and the launch team has given the go for launch. The countdown will resume approximately 2 minutes from now. From T-minus 4 minutes until launch, you will be listening to launch conductor Scott Barney and his team performing the final steps in the countdown procedure. At T-minus 3 minutes, the team will secure Atlas LO2 topping. At T-minus 2 minutes, the team will transfer the Atlas and Centaur stages from ground facility power to internal battery power. At T-minus 1 minute 55 seconds, the team will command the launch sequencer to start, followed shortly by securing the Centaur LH2 and LO2 topping activity. At T-minus 1 minute 40 seconds, the team will command the flight control system to launch enable, and arm the flight termination system. At T-minus 40 seconds, the Atlas tanks will be verified at flight pressures, followed with verification of the Centaur tank pressures at T-minus 30 seconds. A final status check of the Atlas, Centaur, and NROL-67 readiness is conducted at T-minus 25 seconds. At T-minus 3 seconds, the RD-180 main engine starts, followed by ignition of the solid rocket boosters.
On my mark, the time will be T-minus 4 minutes and counting. 3, 2, 1, mark.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and counting. The countdown clock has resumed and we are go for launch at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Three minutes.
Securing LO2 topping.
Atlas tanks to flight pressure. 250.
FTS internal.
T-minus 2 minutes, 30 seconds and counting. The countdown is on track as we proceed toward T0. Once the rocket lifts off, it takes 36 seconds to reach Mach 1, or the speed of sound. At 100 seconds, the Atlas V reaches Mach 4, and at 200 seconds it reaches Mach 9, or 9 times the speed of sound.
Vehicle internal.
Launch sequences start.
150. Securing Centaur LH2.
Securing Centaur LO2.
FCS launch enable.
T-minus 1 minute, 30 seconds and counting. The launch vehicle, payload, ground systems, and eastern range are go for launch.
120.
Work is armed.
FCS count started.
115.
Reduce ECS for launch.
Roger. 110.
Vent valve locked.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Range status.
Range green.
.40.
Stable at step 3.
ECS reduced for launch.
Roger.
25.
Status check.
Go Atlas.
Go Centaur.
Go NROL-67.
20. 15. 10.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, we have ignition and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket carrying NROL-67 for the National Reconnaissance Office.
Mach 1. Max Q, hydrates continue to look good. SRB chamber pressures at plateau. Signatures look pretty good.
You are hearing the voice of Marty Malinowski providing launch vehicle ascent data. Let's listen in for mission progress.
And boosters throttle back up. Engine response looks good. Range track shows the vehicle right down the middle of the corridor. Looking for SRB burnout in about 10 seconds. And SRB chamber pressures are rolling off. Vehicle is coming up on the Q Alpha limited closed loop stern enable. And we have jettison of 4 solid rocket motors. Looks like a clean SIP. Burn altitude is 28 miles, downrange distance 43 miles, current velocity is 4,554 miles per hour. Q Alpha limited stern is complete. Booster engine continues to perform very well. Pump speeds and injector pressures are within band. Body rates look good. Coming up on the RCS pyro valve firing. That valve has now been fired. System is pressurizing flight level. Signatures look good. Booster has throttled down right on schedule. This is in preparation for payload firing jettison. Currently flying our 2.5G throttle segment. And we have payload firing jettison. It's like a clean SIP, and we have CFR jettison. Boosters now throttling back up.
We've just seen the successful liftoff and completion of the early milestones of today's flight. I'd like to thank Marty Malinowski for his contribution to today's broadcast. For more information on the Atlas V, please visit www.ulalaunch.com. We'll conclude our coverage with another look at the liftoff of the Atlas V NROL-67 mission. I'm Danielle Taylor, and on behalf of the entire launch team, thank you for joining us and have a wonderful afternoon. We have ignition and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket carrying NROL-67 for the National Reconnaissance Office.